by next year, Russia will be struggling quite a lot. They won't be able to replenish a lot of their stock. They won't have the manpower. Whereas Ukraine will be getting more and more Western kit, and they've obviously got the Ukrainian soldiers being trained in Britain at the moment, and they're planning to train thousands more.
An internal Ukrainian government report has described Russia's weapons as ineffective and obsolete. The dossier was compiled by Ukraine's Ministry of Defence and has been seen by The Times. The report states that Russian armoured vehicles and helicopters are unable to withstand small arms fire and that Russian missiles have only a 33% chance of hitting their target. Now, we knew there were problems with Russian weapons, but we perhaps didn't know that they were quite this bad.
Well, yeah, this is quite an in-depth report actually that's been compiled by officials and military chiefs inside the Ukrainian Ministry of Defence, and they go into quite a lot of detail about specific Russian kit that's been used against Ukrainian forces, and then they've looked at how easy they've been able to take those that military kit out. So, for example, they mentioned this alligator attack helicopter. And they say that the Russians are claiming that this is basically a flying tank and it's got an armoured cabin that should be able to withstand the impact of 12.7 millimeter caliber bullets. But instead, the Ukrainians are able to pierce this helicopter with 7.62 millimeter caliber bullets, so small arms. And then they also talk about the missiles that Russia's firing on Ukrainian territory and the fact that some of them only have a 33% chance of actually hitting the target.
And are these legacy issues that this is kind of aging equipment, or is this because of sustained damage throughout during the actual war in Ukraine?
They're saying some of this is obviously old Soviet kit that then they've tried to modernise, and it seems that they've not modernised some of this kit effectively. It might be that also they're trying to update some of the kit, some of the sort of newer kit, but it's just not good enough to withstand some of the Western weapons that are being supplied to the Ukrainians. Of course, we have got to bear in mind this is obviously a Ukrainian report, and they're bound to, potentially, I suppose, even exaggerate some of the Russian shortfalls. But the fact that they've got details, like it's got pictures, for example, of all of the small weapons that they've been able to use to take out these supposedly modern pieces of kit.
Now, we know you just mentioned there where Ukraine gets its new weaponry from. Where does Russia get it from?
Well, they're struggling at the moment, and actually the report does go into that as well. Obviously, there's been sanctions imposed against Russia, and they've been in the past heavily reliant on kit. In fact, we had a report earlier this week by RUSI that was talking about how Russia was reliant on Western electronics. And those components, of course, it's no longer getting. So there is a sense that actually Russia could be struggling in the next few months to procure weapons and actually build their own weapons.
And will that have a knock-on effect in the current war in Ukraine, is it thought?
I think over time there seems to be a bit of optimism from British military chiefs that by next year Russia will be struggling quite a lot. They won't be able to replenish a lot of their stock. They won't have the manpower. Whereas Ukraine will be getting more and more Western kit, and they've obviously got the Ukrainian soldiers being trained in Britain at the moment, and they're planning to train thousands more. So I think there is a bit of optimism that yes, that by next year Russia will be struggling a lot more.